Welcome to Dolphin Dive Daily, your go-to spot for everything Miami Dolphins. If you bleed aqua and orange, hit that subscribe button and join the pod. Kenneth Grant. Remember the name, because whether you're celebrating or criticizing, you're gonna hear it a lot this NFL season. The Miami Dolphins used their 13th overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft to snag the 6'4", 331-pound defensive tackle out of Michigan. On paper, he's a beast. Massive frame, power for days, and a reputation for clogging up the run like a human roadblock. But just weeks after the draft, the hype around Grant is already being met with some serious skepticism, not from the fans necessarily, but from NFL analysts who aren't sold on the Dolphins' gamble. Bleacher Report's Brent Sobleski stirred the pot with his recent list of potential rookie busts, and guess who made the cut? Yep, Kenneth Grant. And while it might sting for Dolphins fans to hear it, the arguments behind it are actually worth talking about. Sobleski isn't just throwing darts in the dark here. He laid out his reasons with cold, hard logic. The biggest draft value nose tackles, those interior linemen whose main job is to eat space and allow others to shine, almost never get picked this high. Think about it. When's the last time a guy who wasn't a flashy pass rusher went top 15? Sobleski put it bluntly: if you're taking a nose tackle at 13, that player better be the next Dexter Lawrence or Haloti Ngata. That's not just high praise, it's a ridiculously tall order. These are Pro Bowl caliber guys who didn't just stuff the run, they changed the game. So now, whether it's fair or not, Grant's been put in that same box and expectations are sky high. Now let's be honest, nose tackles don't sell jerseys. They don't fill highlight reels, and in most cases, casual fans barely know their names unless they're doing something crazy. But that doesn't mean they aren't essential. Grant's role is simple but crucial: take on double teams, clog running lanes, and free up linebackers to make plays. It's a thankless job, and that's part of what's fueling this bust narrative. Sobleski pointed out that Grant's impact won't show up in the box score. He's not going to rack up 10 sacks or blow past guards like Aaron Donald. So if fans and analysts don't see the splash plays immediately, the word disappointment might get thrown around faster than it should. And that's where perception could really hurt Grant early in his career. Let's also talk fit. Miami's defense is evolving. The Dolphins are transitioning under a new coaching staff and hoping to build a more physical identity up front. That sounds good on paper, but integrating a pure nose tackle into a scheme that might require more versatility, that's not easy. Grant is best when planted right over the center, bulldozing gaps and holding his ground. But if the Dolphins start running more multiple fronts or expect him to rush the passer more consistently, it could get messy. It's not about ability, it's about comfort zone. He flashed some pass rushing juice at Michigan, no doubt, but being asked to do more than you're ready for, especially at the NFL level, can ruin confidence in a hurry. Of course, there's another angle here. The Dolphins didn't just draft Kenneth Grant for what he can do in 2025, they drafted him for what he could become by 2027. That long-term potential is real. He's got the frame, the power, and the college pedigree to grow into something special. But fans don't always want to hear about development. They want results, especially when you've used a top 15 pick. That kind of investment carries weight. It means you passed on guys who can make plays now for someone who might need a season or two just to find his footing. And if Grant doesn't show flashes out of the gate, the buzz turns negative fast. Just ask any recent first-rounder who struggled early. It's a brutal spotlight, but let's not get carried away here. Brent Sobleski's article wasn't declaring Grant a definitive bust, it was more of a red flag, a caution sign. He was careful to point out that Grant's skill set has value, but that value might not match the price tag right now. It's a warning to temper expectations. Still, in the world of NFL headlines, nuance gets lost. All most fans will hear is bust alert, and that sticks, fair or not. The challenge now falls to Grant to flip that script to prove that he's not just a space eater, but a difference maker. And the only way to do that? Shine when the lights come on in August and September. Training camp is going to be massive for Grant. Every rep, every 1-on-1 drill, every preseason snap, he'll be under the microscope, not just from coaches, but from media and fans alike. If he holds his ground against veteran linemen and makes a few splash plays in the preseason, that bust label will quiet down quick. But if he looks slow, overwhelmed, or worse, injured, things could snowball. Remember, it's not just about performance, it's about optics. Does he look like he belongs? Does he command double teams? Is he pushing the pocket at all? These are the questions that will dominate Dolphins Twitter and sports talk shows all summer. And here's where things get interesting. Grant isn't walking into a rebuilding team with low expectations. The Dolphins are trying to contend. That's a double-edged sword. On one hand, he has talent around him, guys who can help him succeed. On the other, there's less patience. Miami doesn't want to wait 2 seasons for him to be effective. They need contributors now, and if he struggles, or if the team starts slow and fans are looking for someone to blame, guess whose name gets brought up first? The top 15 rookie who isn't making plays. It's harsh, but it's how the league works. Draft pedigree is a gift and a curse, still. Let's not forget what made Grant a first-round pick in the first place. At Michigan, he was a force, not flashy, but effective. He held down the line of scrimmage, bullied offensive linemen, and helped one of the nation's best defenses thrive. Coaches raved about his work ethic, his strength, and his football IQ. He's not just a big body, he's a smart, disciplined player. And those types of guys, they tend to last in the NFL, even if they don't break out right away. So maybe the real question isn't whether Kenneth Grant is a bust, it's whether fans and analysts are patient enough to let him grow into something greater than what the stat sheet shows. So what's the verdict? Honestly, it's way too early to tell. Labeling anyone a bust before they've even played it down is risky business. But the pressure on Grant is very real. The Dolphins made a bold choice taking a nose tackle at 13. And now that decision is being scrutinized from every angle. For Grant, the best response is simple. Play football, shut down the run, wreck a few pockets. Earn respect the hard way, because if he does that, the narrative flips. And just maybe, when we look back in a year or two, this whole bust conversation will feel like a massive overreaction. Time will tell. Still with us. Then show some love, hit that like button, and let us know in the comments, what's your take on the Fins this week? A bombshell may have just dropped in the AFC, and it's the kind of move that could shake the balance of power in the entire conference. Whispers are growing loud around league circles that the Las Vegas Raiders have sent a record-breaking trade offer to the Miami Dolphins for none other than all-pro cornerback JALEN RAMSEY. Yes, you heard that right. The Raiders, a franchise desperate to rewrite their recent history and return to contender status, may have just thrown the gauntlet down in the most dramatic way possible. We're talking about a potentially league-altering acquisition, and if the rumors are true, it means the silver and black are absolutely not playing games this offseason. They're swinging for the fences, and they might have just connected with a monster shot. Now, we all know how JALEN RAMSEY's presence transforms a defense when healthy. He's arguably the most complete cornerback in the NFL. Physical, smart, elite ball skills, and an unmatched swagger that elevates everyone around him. After his knee injury last year, some questioned whether he'd ever return to top form. But those doubts vanished as the 2024 season progressed. Ramsey came back not just strong, but dominant. He locked down elite receivers, became the heart of that Miami secondary, and proved once again why he's been considered generational talent at his position. And that's exactly why the rumor of this potential trade is so jaw-dropping. Why would the Dolphins even consider letting him go unless the offer was so massive, so outrageous, that they simply couldn't refuse? And this is where things get spicy. Sources close to the Raiders front office suggest that the team has tabled a package that includes multiple first-round picks, a starting caliber player on defense, possibly one of their young edge rushers, and additional draft compensation in the second or third rounds. It's the kind of offer that makes front offices stop and think, because while Ramsey is elite, he's also 30, and Miami might be looking to retool around younger pieces and future capital. The AFC East is turning into an arms race, and the Dolphins, already invested heavily in Tua, Hill, and Waddle, may feel the need to reallocate their financial flexibility. Could this be their version of selling high while still staying competitive? But let's flip it from the Dolphins to the Raiders side for a moment, because this could be the most aggressive move we've seen from them since they relocated to Las Vegas. The new regime has made it crystal clear that mediocrity is no longer acceptable. The AFC West, with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert still looming large, demands boldness, and the Raiders, they just might have decided that the fastest way to respectability is by stacking talent on defense, something they've sorely lacked. Pairing Ramsey with a rising secondary and giving Max Crosby some help on the back end could instantly change the narrative around that entire unit. It sends a message. Vegas wants to win now, of course. This wouldn't be a Raiders move without some controversy. The fan base is divided. Some love the win-now mentality. Others worry about mortgaging the future. Giving up premium picks for a player with injury history is always risky. But think about the Raiders' situation. New head coach, fresh culture, and a defense that's been bottom tier for years. Adding a proven veteran with championship pedigree might be exactly what they need to set a new tone. Ramsey doesn't just cover receivers, he changes locker rooms. He brings edge, accountability, and a mindset that's been missing in Vegas. If you're trying to flip the script, there are few players better suited for the job. And while nothing is official yet, the buzz coming out of both camps suggests there's fire behind this smoke. Insiders say Dolphins GM Chris Grier is at least entertaining the idea. If true, it means Miami is weighing the value of getting younger and cheaper versus keeping their defensive cornerstone. They've already got Vic Fangio drawing up elite schemes. Maybe they feel confident enough to plug another player in and maintain their identity. But here's the thing, you don't just replace JALEN Ramsey, you hope to cover the hole he leaves behind. So the Dolphins have a serious decision on their hands, and the Raiders, they're sitting at the poker table, staring down their opponents, all in on their boldest hand yet. Let's also not forget what this would do to the AFC playoff picture if Ramsey lands in Vegas. Suddenly the Raiders are no longer a soft matchup on the schedule. You've got a legit corner who can follow your W or one across the field and shut down entire game plans. That changes how you call plays. That changes how confident your quarterback feels on third down. Ramsey's a weapon, and on the right team, he's a playoff X factor. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, they all have to pay attention now. Because the Raiders are moving with urgency. No more rebuilding. No more excuses. They're trying to make noise immediately. And here's another twist to watch. What does this mean for JALEN Ramsey himself? We know he's ultra competitive. He wants to win. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's tasted the big stage and he wants more. If this trade goes through, he'd be walking into a team with playoff ambitions but no guarantees. Would he embrace the role of leader, of tone setter, of the guy who brings swagger back to Vegas? Or would he see it as a step back? That dynamic is key because Ramsey's mindset is part of what makes him great. If he's locked in, the Raiders could be getting the best version of him. But if he's hesitant, it could get complicated. Fast. As of now, no confirmation has come from either franchise. The front offices are tight-lipped. But league insiders are buzzing, agents are whispering, and social media is already running wild with speculation. Some even believe the deal is further along than anyone's admitting publicly. That we might wake up any day now to breaking news confirming the trade, and if that happens, you better believe it'll be one of the biggest stories of the offseason. A superstar cornerback changing conferences, a franchise making its boldest move in years, and a playoff race in the AFC that just got a whole lot more interesting. Yeah, that's the kind of moment that gets fans hyped and rivals sweating. So keep your eyes on this one. The Raiders might have just flipped the script in the AFC with a single massive swing, and if they land JALEN Ramsey, watch out. Because this could be the start of something bigger in Las Vegas, the rebirth of a contender, the return of swagger, and the boldest gamble we've seen from the silver and black in a very long time. As always, this league doesn't sleep, and neither do the rumors. That's a wrap for today's dive. If you're loving the content, share it with a fellow Dolphins fan, hit subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a splash. Fins up.